guys, this is Spyderrock and welcome back to another command tutorial video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to use the /scoreboard command. I'm in Minecraft Bedrock edition, so this will work for Pocket, Xbox, PS4, Windows 10, PlayStation, whatever you're playing on. And most of these things should work for Java too, although Java has some extra capabilities and some of the syntax might be a little different, so I'm not going to guarantee that anything here will work the same for Java. Scoreboards are really great. They can allow you to, well, have a scoreboard. You can manage your score, you can do all kinds of stuff, but I'm gonna stop, talking like this, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's hop right into this. Alright, so before we do anything, pretty much with the scoreboard, you're going to want to have an objective. An objective is, I don't know how to describe it other than an objective. It's what you're scoring on. So if your objective was score, it would be your score. If your objective is time, it would be your time, that kind of thing. We're gonna make a test objective. So here we have scoreboard objectives add, test dummy test. So scoreboard objectives add is going to add an objective. Test, the first test here with the lowercase t, that is the name of the objective. The only times we're going to be using that is in a command. It's not what you're going to see when you're actually using the scoreboard. Dummy means like this is what you're going to see, and then test, that's the dummy essentially. So with the capital T, that's what you're going to see on screen. So I could put test 2 here and you will see test 2 on the screen, even though the objective itself is called test. But I'm going to leave that as capital T, test, and I'm going to press this button. That adds the objective. You won't be able to see anything yet, and that's where set, sidebar, and below name, and I can't remember what it's called. Set display, sorry. That's where the set display command come in. So for most people, the default thing you're going to want to use is the sidebar. So you'll do scoreboard objective set display, and then in our case, for this first one, sidebar, and then test ascending. So you can do ascending or descending. That just has to do with the position of different people with their score. It's hard to explain. You'll probably just want to mess around with it. It normally wouldn't matter, but I'm pretty sure ascending means the more points you have, the higher you are on the leaderboard. Oh no, the more points you have, the lower you are, and descending means the more points you have, the higher you are. It's kind of confusing. Anyway, sidebar, here we go. We're going to push this button. Now you can see, there we go. We have right in the corner of our screen, right over here, we have it says test. So you're probably wondering, well, where is my name? Why am I not here? That is why we need to add a player. So right here you can see add at P. This is the command you're going to want to do to add yourself. Scoreboard players add at P test 1. All this is going to do is add you. So when you say at P, it's going to be the nearest player. You could do at S if you're typing it. You could do at A if you want to add everybody to the scoreboard, and so on and so forth. So there we go. You can see I have 1 point on test. But let's say that we want to add another person, or let's say, what if you wanted to do like a red team, blue team kind of thing, you know what I mean? You wouldn't do at P, you wouldn't do a player, you'd do any word. So let's say you could substitute name right here for, red or blue or green, the team name, or you could really put whatever you want here. It's going to be the same, except instead of at P, you can have it be whatever word you want. So I'm going to hit this, and you can see it says name. I could add another one that says, maybe we can go with, yep, there we go. Okay, so we can have, is also on the scoreboard. And then I can push it one more time, and now has 2 points. As you can see, like I said, since it's ascending, the more points you have, the lower you are. If I set it to descending, it'll go from the highest points to the lowest points. You can really do that however you want, whatever fits your situation. But now has 3 points. Anyway, let's say you want to get rid of the scoreboard completely. So that's what this command is here. Scoreboard objectives remove test. It simply removes the objective test completely. You don't see anything. It's that simple. You push the button and it's gone. But let's say you want to keep the scoreboard, but just remove a player. That is where this command right here comes in. Scoreboard players reset at P test. So it will reset your player, as in it just gets rid of your name. So I hit that, it gets rid of my name. I can give myself, here we go. I can give myself a few score, but let's say I meant to give myself 3 score, or I meant to give myself 2 score and I gave myself 3 score. That is where this comes in right here. Scoreboard players remove at P test 1. It's similar to adding 1, except it removes 1. So for every one you add here, you can remove 1 here. You can set this to as many as you want. So I could set this to remove 4, and it'll set this to -1, because 3 minus 4 is -1. There we go. You can see I have -1. Now I have -5, because each time I'm removing 4. set it back to 1. Now I can remove 1, I can add 1. You can add as many as you want. Just change that number right there for adding and removing. But let's say, you know, I want to go ahead and just reset my score, then I can do that. But let's say instead I want to set my score to something specific. So I don't want to add 1 every time or remove 1. I just want to have it set to 10. So I'm going to set it to 1 just because I can, or add 1, I mean. So then you use this command right here, scoreboard players set at ptest10. So no matter what your score is, whether you have a score or not, if your name's there or not, it will set your score to 10. So I am set it to 10. I can click this as much as I want and it's still going to be 10. I can get rid of my name. Oops. I can get rid of my name and then I can add a new one and I have 10 still. But now we're going to get into something a little bit more interesting. So let me go ahead and remove the objective just because I want to start fresh here. So I'm going to add the objective. Then right here you can see we have list and below name. So list is going to show up in, like when you hit escape, it's going to show up in this little menu here. I don't think this will work for Java Edition, or there might be a different way you do it in Java Edition. Yet again, I'm not sure. But on Bedrock Edition, it will show up here. So if I hit set list, now you can see it says test right there, and there's no score yet, but it says test. So we have our objective there. So let's see, I'm going to give myself 1 score. You can see there we go, test 1, Spyderrock 10, 1, and then I could add a few more. You know, there I have 2. I could set it to 10. This is just another way of being able to visualize your score. I don't know what happens if I add another player. There we go. Here we go. So when you add another player, they'll show up with this like little connecting thing. So if you want to have it like displayed, like it's not always on your screen, but you can hit escape and see it. That's one way to do it. The only thing is it adds like this new player that doesn't happen. Like I can click on my profile, but I can't click on this one. I mean, it just makes like a little click noise. I'm going to go ahead and remove the objective. And now we're going to check out the set below name command. So if I go ahead and let's see, I'm going to set it to below name. So nothing shows up here right now. There's nothing showing up on the screen. You can't see anything because that means the score will show up below your name tag. So of course you have to have name tags on for this, but I'm going to join with my alt account right here. See spy alt. And I have this command down here that adds everybody. It gives everybody a score of 1, or adds, I guess it's adding 1 to everybody's score. So here we go. I've loaded in. I'm right over here. I'm just Steve. I'm on my phone here. So I do this. You can see here we go. 1 test. So right here I have my score here. I can keep hitting this and it'll keep adding score, but it shows up below your name. So you can't see it right now, but below my username, I'm looking on my phone right now. Below my username, it says to test as well. But if I went ahead and set mine to, where is it? Set mine to 10. Now on my phone, if I'm looking, I see 10 test. You can't see it though. This guy still has 2 test, and then I'm gonna go ahead and remove the objective and leave because we're going to move on. If I hop on over here to, let's see, where are we? We were right here. Okay, we're going to be checking out the test command. So how you use test. This test here is a variable. It has nothing to do with, or not a variable, it's a data thing. It has nothing to do with the actual scoreboard's name being test. I made all this and then I made that and I realized that test and test don't make sense together. Ignore that, just pay attention to the commands. I'll explain it in a sec. So add objective, I'm gonna set my sidebar, there we go. I'm gonna give myself 1, there we go. Okay, so it's going to test that I have on the objective test. The second test is the objective, the first one is the value. So it's going to test that I have on the objective test something between 64 points and 70 points. So right now, since I have a comparator coming off of this repeating command block, it's not making any signal because I have 1 point. I could set it to 10, it's not going to make a signal. But if I set it to 64, there we go, you can see I have this other command that just does say at p has 64 test score. It will sort of do this little like thingy, and now it's lit up. So I'm using the comparator to just represent that the command block is outputting a signal. But let's say I decide to remove one. 63 is not from 64 to 70, so it will not be there. And I can add one again. There we go, I have 64 test score, and then it's lighting up. But let's say I go ahead and continue adding them until I go over 70. So 67, 68, 69, and then even 70, it's still gonna show up because 70 is between 64 and 70. But if I add one more score, that turns off, and this is no longer like being activated because I have 71 score. So that pretty much is self-explanatory. You can change these to any values you want, from a minimum value to a maximum value. If you leave the maximum blank, if you leave the second one blank, it will test that you have from that number or higher. So if I just set it to like 3, no matter what it is, as long as it's higher than 3, it would, or 3 or higher, I mean, it would send off a redstone signal. Anyway, next we're going to try out scoreboard players list at P. So you won't really be able to see anything if I push the button here. It'll show up here, test 71 test. This just sort of lists all of the target. So at P, this lists all of the objectives with their scores that I have. So I'm gonna run the command here just in my command prompt thing. And so it says they're showing 1 tracked objectives for Spyderrock 10 test 71 test. It's pretty simple. It just tells you what objectives that you have and what scores you have on those objectives. All right, but anyways, we should move on. Nobody really cares about lists, I don't think. Random. This one's actually really cool. So it will, I'm pretty sure, set your score to a random score in between 2 numbers. So in our case, we're going to be setting to a random number in between 5 and 15. So if I push this, we have 10. Push it again, 8, push it again, 5, push it again, 10, push it again, 7. You can see it just sort of gives you a random score. So this is probably the easiest way to make a randomizer in Minecraft, or at least one of the easiest ways. And I'd like seriously recommend it if you're trying to do anything randomized. You can just summon an entity, or you can make your own objective, make your own name, and just give it a random score. So it's pretty useful. All right, and our last one is a very interesting thing. So it's operations. So how this works is it will take your score and add, subtract, multiply, or divide, or I think there's some other operations you can do as well, to another person's score. So if I go ahead and add name 1, let's see, I want to give name 2. So name variable, or I guess name has 2 points, I have 6 points. We're just gonna say that. So if I push this command block here, scoreboard players operation at P, test times equals name test. So it's going to multiply at P, my score, by the name score. So name has 2, I have 6, mine will turn into 12. And it's multiplying it by name. So every time I hit it, it's being multiplied by 2. I can give name 1 more point. So it's gonna start multiplying it by 3. So 144, 432, stuff like that. And then you can do other things. So I'm pretty sure. So I was looking through these and I'm still not sure what percent equals means, but you can, here, let me go ahead and give myself another score. But I'm pretty sure you can do a lot of things. So you can add, you have to do essentially, here, let me just show you, this would be easier. If I delete all this, you can see all of my operations here. So I don't know what percent does. I'm still not sure on that one. I know this was like the ultimate guide, but I'm not good at this stuff. Okay. Anyway, plus equals is going to add it, I'm pretty sure. So, oops, I have to actually finish typing this in. Let's see, name, and then test, there we go. So it's going to add 3 now every time, since name has 3. Pretty simple. I mean, you might as well just do add 3, but if you want the score to be based off of something, it's a thing you can do. I can do minus, and it's gonna subtract 3 every time I run it. And then you could also do slash, and it will be divided by 3 every time. And it just goes to 0 because I guess you can't divide things by 3. I don't think this has decimals. I don't think these count as float variables or anything. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you made it here, I hope you learned a thing or two about the scoreboard command. And I know I went through all this pretty quickly. Maybe you could like slow down the video and jump from thing to thing. But this is pretty much everything that you can do if you type /scoreboard. I just sort of tried to go through everything. There's a lot of things here that you can do, and so I tried to go over as many of them as I can. Yeah, there's a lot you can do with scoreboard commands. I use them a ton inside of my FPS map that I'm going to be releasing soon, unless you're watching this after I released it, and then I already released it. And I'm going to be using it a lot more for a lot of different things. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you made it to here, join the Discord if you haven't, blah 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 blah. Also, you can ask me questions there too about this if you have any questions. See you guys later though, and bye.